Leili and Majnun, Part 7. In the name of God, the most compassionate, the most merciful. After reading the letter, Majnun got the man's pen and started writing a letter to Leili. He began his letter with the name of God, the knower of the visible and invisible. After that, he expressed his love by saying how precious she was to him, and the fact that the world was dark without her. But then he went on complaining that she always claimed that she loved him, but there was no actual sign of her love to prove it. At the end, he wished one day they could be together forever. The man took the letter and promised to hand it to Leili as soon as he got to town. When Leili got the letter, she was in seventh heaven. As she began reading the letter, her happiness gradually disappeared and her tears started running down on her face. The more she read, the more she cried. By the time she had finished reading it, the letter was all wet with her tears. After a few days, Salim Amri, Majnun's uncle, came to see Majnun. He looked for him everywhere until he found him among a group of wild animals in a distance. He called Majnun several times as loudly as he could so that Majnun could hear him. Majnun asked him who he was. He introduced himself. Majnun recognized him and sent the animals away. Salim stepped forward and handed him the food and the clothes that he had brought as gifts. At first he rejected to wear the clothes, but when Salim insisted, he accepted to put them on, but he didn't touch the food. He gave it all to the animals. "I've lost my appetite," Majnun said. Then they talked about their friends and relatives. Majnun was so worried about his mother. Salim was really happy to see his nephew after such a long time, but it was time to go. He said goodbye to Majnun and promised he would go back to visit him soon. Salim realized that Majnun had missed his mother a lot, so the next day he went to Majnun's mother and asked her if she wanted to go with them to the mountain to visit Majnun next time. It was not easy to take Majnun's mother up on the mountain as she was old. It took them a long time to get where Majnun was. When Majnun's mother saw him, she couldn't stop crying. She hugged him and kissed him many times. "Your father has passed away, and soon it will be my turn. Give yourself a break. Let's go back home before it gets late. We don't have much time." "You know well that it's not my fault, Mother. It's my fate. I can't change it. Please don't ask me to go back home. I'll die there," said Majnun. Throwing himself at his mother's feet, he asked her to forgive him for not obeying her. Majnun's mother returned home sadly. She was so disappointed. After a few months, she passed away too. Salim was the one who gave the bad news to Majnun. Majnun went real crazy when he heard that. He rushed to the graveyard at once and spent the whole day crying for his mother and father and cursing his bad luck. Leili was so worried about Majnun. She sent a message to Majnun saying that she wanted to see him. When the day came, Leili saw Majnun standing next to a palm tree. She didn't go any closer. "Please give him my regards and ask him to read one of his poems to me," she told the messenger standing next to her. Majnun recited a very beautiful poem expressing his deep love to her. Hearing his voice, she felt relieved and rushed home. Majnun went back to the mountain. He had just arrived at the mountain when he saw a man coming toward him.